Alright guys, this is Budget EDC here, and this is going to be my review of the Buck 373 and 379. The reason I'm reviewing these two together is not just because they're so very similar, it's because they come in a pack together. For about 20 bucks you can get both of these knives. Most Walmarts carry them, Kmart's, Target's, just your regular big box stores. To go ahead and get one out of the way, I'm going to review the top one first, which is the 379 Buck Solo. It's fairly simple in design. It's got imitation jigged stag handles or jigged bone. I actually don't know the difference between those two. I'm sure somebody will tell me sooner or later. The tang stamp, you can see Buck 379, and then the proof mark that shows what year it was made. On the flip side, you'll see a word that you probably realize that I don't like very much. China. These knives are made in China, both of them. But, that being said, the quality on these knives is just terrific. It's outstanding. The only issue I have with these knives is that the one blade on this one and the clip blade on the 373 both have slight vertical blade play, and I think that's due to the back spring bar not sitting flush against the blade. I don't know if you can see that there, because it's not wanting to focus, but yeah, I can't make it focus. I'm filming with an iPhone here, so not the greatest filming device. Oh, and it's kind of, you can see it. There's a gap there on the sides, but it's not the biggest deal. This, like most traditional knives, is pinned construction, so there's no pivot adjustment. There's no way to take the handle scales off without pressing the pins out, or there's not a way that I know of to do it any other way than that. It's got, I think, nickel bolsters. No, those are brass. I just can't see. They're brass bolsters. They came fairly scratched up out of the clamshell package, and I was pretty disappointed in that. But there's not a whole lot I could do about it. So, I mean, I'm not going to send a knife back to the factory because the bolsters are scratched up. That just seems ridiculous. This is a fairly adequate knife. I keep it in the breast pocket of my Carhartt jacket, just so if all else fails, I still have this knife on me. Hardly ever use it. Sometimes forget it's there, but then if somebody needs to borrow a knife, I don't have to hand them my main blade or even my secondary blade because they might break it, lose it, or anything like that. If they break this or lose this, I'm out $10. If they really like this knife, I may just give it to them. It's $10. It's not going to hurt that bad if I never see it again, but it's a fairly good quality knife. I'm going to set this out of the way up here, and I'm going to bring over the Buck 373 Trio. See how this one has one blade and it's called the Solo? This one has three blades and it's called the Trio. Wonder how they came up with that naming system. Way to go, Buck. You really cornered the market on originality. It's got the same handle scales, and on this side it looks fairly good, but if you flip it over, it's way too white on the sides. You can tell that this is imitation stag or whatever. And I don't know if this is dye right here, if they actually scorched it a little bit. If they actually scorched it, I could scorch this on the sides myself and make it darker. But I'm lazy, and I'm afraid I'm going to break it. So if somebody knows that for sure, they could shoot me a message or put it in the comments. I do actually read the comments because I have all of like 5 subscribers right now, but I do read the comments. The main clip blade, I actually don't know if it's supposed to be like this, but I don't know if you can tell. It goes down from the handle instead of coming straight out. I don't think the Solo does this. No, it doesn't. That's straight out. You can tell that right there. I think that might contribute to some of the horizontal blade play, and you can see it a lot better in this one that there's a gap right there. It's not sitting flush against the what is it called? I just said it. Backspring, there we go. I don't know words. Once again, the tang stamp, you can see Buck 373 on this one, plus the proof mark showing what year it was made. I actually like Buck's dating system. It's a lot easier to understand than anybody else's. There's no tang stamp on this blade that says China. It's on the small sheep's foot blade right here, and I would actually prefer it be on the clip point blade because this is the blade that I use most of all if I use this knife. It's always how it's been for me with Stockmans. I just like Wharncliffe style blades, sheep's foot blades, rescue type blades. I like the blade shape. I find it lends itself to utility tasks quite well. Aside from the clip and sheep's foot blade, there is a spay blade. Oh, my bad. Over here, I pulled the nail off my thumb with the parcel hook on a Victorinox Super Tinker, and ow, yeah, that hurts. I can't open it with that thumb. There we go. I actually don't know if you guys know what the spay blade's originally used for, but if you ever had an animal spayed, then you just figured out how this blade got its name. Now, keep in mind, back in the day, mostly farmers, field hands, and people in manual labor jobs carried pocket knives. This was something with a blunted tip, but with an edge that ran all the way up to the tip that could be very useful in that practice of spaying animals. I actually don't know if that's completely true, but that's what I've always heard from the traditional guys on the forums, Blade forums that is. If you guys are on Blade forums, I'm Metalhead357 by the way. I might link to Blade forums in the comments, I don't know. But this is an excellent knife for the money, or should I say excellent pair of knives for the money. Not a whole lot to say about them because they're fairly bare bones. I don't know what all you can say about traditionals. Something traditional guys will actually be interested in is the walk and talk. Now, the walk is how easily this pulls open, how how the back spring moves while you're pulling it open. Now these are very fluid because they're very, very new. And the talk is, I don't know if the camera picked it up, but it's that snap when you snap it open. It's a nice auditory sign that, yeah, your blade's as close to locking as it's going to get for a slip joint, and you're good to go. You can use it now. I don't know how good the talk is on this one because I haven't really been paying attention. The walk isn't that great, and the walk on the spay blade it's ridiculously hard. That's like walking up a mountain to pull that thing up, but yeah, it's got fairly good talk. Not the best. I mean, you're not going to get the best quality traditional knife for $20. Or really, more like, I'd say like 12 and 8 is really what you're paying, maybe even 15, 5. Because if they had this one by itself for $5, I still probably wouldn't buy it. It's not that good. It's my beater knife that stays in my jacket pocket, like I said. But if you're new to traditional knives, like I was fairly new at the time, I just almost knocked the tripod over. That was not good. I should not do that. But if you're fairly new to traditional knives, like I was when I got these are fairly good starter knives, and I've caught the traditional bug pretty bad. I've bought some old timers, a couple old bucks, and I've got some Camelises and an old Boker tree brand that I'm planning on reviewing sometime in the near future. So, in short, these are adequate knives. If you buy these and have these on your person, you're probably going to have more of a knife than the average person has walking down the street. So, in short, buy these knives if you want something that's just, it's a decent knife. This is Budget EDC signing off.